Star Trek Continues has allowed me to do a lot of things in production that I've always loved, whether it's acting or directing or writing or prop building or painting sets, editing episodes, sound design, but I love music, I think, most of all. And the music for Star Trek Continues is an extremely important thing because the original series of Star Trek was, the music was very much a part of the style and the feel of the show, and it immediately conjures up the mood of the original series. So it was always my intention to use the original series music, but you have to be able to alter it and customize it to match your particular story. It's a lot more complicated than just like taking a track from the original series and dropping it in. You have to know what kind of mood you want to create and what track will fit that mood best. But even more than that, what if the track doesn't fit? What if it's too short or too long or weird things happen in the middle? Here's an example. This is an original music cue from the Enterprise incident, and you can see how it plays naturally.
Stick the parlay. Yet the fact remains. The Enterprise violated interstellar law by entering Romulan space. Shall we call it war now, Captain Kirk?
So it doesn't quite fit. So I'll go in and cut it up and even play in something original and spread it out so it doesn't stomp on anyone's lines and times out perfectly with what we're doing.
Leave Mr. Spock's message requesting a parlay. Yet the fact remains. The Enterprise violated interstellar law by entering Romulan space. Shall we call it war now, Captain Kirk? Or wait for an official declaration?
I really love taking an original piece from the original series and then creating something new. For instance, in episode 10, there's a scene at the beginning with Spock and McKenna. Well, I wanted to use the Vulcan theme somewhere in our series, and this seemed like the perfect and the last opportunity to do it. But the problem was that the Vulcan theme is only so long, and the scene is 2 to 3 times longer. I'm sure you recognize that, but it's not long enough for the scene. So I've gone back this whole opening section here and I've created something original. This track is the vibraphone. And then you add the gong. And then there's a very slight drone going underneath of this whole piece. I have a wonderful orchestra library called Vienna Symphonic Library, and I will go to my strings, cello solo, and then I will load a performance solo cello, and then I'll work out the melody. And then I'll record it in MIDI. Then I'll put an audio track and record, put a little reverb on it to make it nice and smooth, and transfer it to audio. Most people won't even know it, unless you're really familiar with the original series, which is kind of fun if people don't recognize that there's a little something different about that. And that's part of customizing each of these tracks for our episodes. Now let me just say, I'm no Andy Farber. I mean, Andy Farber is a genius, and he has scored entire original orchestral pieces that have been performed by a real orchestra. that's just a whole different level. And his music is showcased front and center in episode 11. So if there's a piece that is just what I want, but it's not in the same key as the piece that I want to merge it to, then maybe I can change the key. But I want to put it into another piece that's not the same key. So sometimes I'll just pitch shift so that it matches the piece before it seamlessly. And perhaps I may even want a piece of original series music to have maybe a little more energy to it. There's a scene in episode 10 where I added a snare drum. I played a snare drum in because I wanted to have a little more energy, or a cymbal crescendo, or a timpani roll, or a gong, or a harp glissando, things to help add a particular hit or particular moment to our episode. I certainly loved playing Captain Kirk, but I think one of my favorite jobs has been the music editing. Music is so important. Music is so vital to the emotion and the energy of the scene, and being able to craft the music just the way you want to, and in some cases even create something original, has been one of my favorite parts of Star Trek Continues. You know, from the very beginning of starting this web series, Star Trek Continues, I always felt that the music was absolutely one of the most important things. It was the music of the original series that really inspired me, and it stuck with me. I always remembered the themes, and I always felt like they captured the moment perfectly. But finding somebody who can write original series Star Trek style music is not easy. People just don't write like that anymore.
I've been watching Star Trek since I was 4 years old. My father was watching it one day, and I still remember the first episode I saw, which was Dagger of the Mind. And I've been watching it ever since. And, well, you know, you go through 79 episodes rather quickly. And after a while, I came back to, looking around for more content. And I found on the internet Star Trek Continues. Probably before the launch even. There was a little snippet from the end of Turnabout Intruder, and I was completely knocked out and blown away. I said, I can't wait until these guys make episodes. And I thought, boy, I'd really love to write some season 4 music in that style and sort of channel my favorite composers, whether it be Fred Steiner, Sandy Courage, Gerald Fried, George Dooning, all of my favorites, and write something in that style.
I always wanted to have a real orchestra playing some original cues for Star Trek Continues. And episode 4 is going to allow us to do that. After meeting Andy Farber, and he said, I'd love to do this. And he sent me an example, and it was wonderful. It actually ended up being Nakia's theme for episode 4.
So when we were thinking about how we were going to actually score this thing, I reached out to a friend of mine who's a composer and professor at Rochester Institute of Technology. And that's Jonathan Kruger. And we were talking about this, and he said, oh, well, why don't we do it in Rochester with members of the Eastman Studio Orchestra?
Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to your composer and director. He is at the Juilliard School of Music, where he teaches jazz arranging and plays with the Lincoln Center Jazz Orchestra, Andy Farber.
Thank you very much, Dan.
So here we are at this studio with a bunch of amazing student musicians and some amazing professional musicians.
I was one of the kids that went to the conventions when we were all pushing for the show to get renewed. And at one of the conventions, they had a Q&A, and someone got up and said to Bill Shatner or to Gene Roddenberry, how about more of that Fred Steiner music? And that was just so great because Fred Steiner is my cousin. And so I'm honored to be representing my cousin as a link to the original show.
We're doing what has never been done before. Not only recording original series music with a live orchestra again for this series, but also recording some new cuts and some original themes for Star Trek Continues with a full live orchestra.
2, 3,
My dad was the biggest Star Trek fan, and he passed away in September, actually. And he dreamed of me doing stuff like this, and he would have been proud to see me have this as one of my first experiences in film music. So I thank you for that.
This is a dream come true to be an original Star Trek composer, and had to wait 46 years after the last episode was aired for it to happen. But what a great birthday present! We recorded this on my 46th birthday.
It's just another amazing gift that we're able to incorporate into Star Trek Continues.
All right, great. One more time. Let's get a clean one. Here we go. Again.
We just completed the final shot from our final episode. And this will be the last time I put on the uniform of Captain Kirk. I want to thank all of you supporters, friends, family, people enthusiastic about what we have done at Star Trek Continues. We certainly have been inspired and energized by your love and your support and your kindness towards our production. So from all of us here at Star Trek Continues, we wish you the very best. May the wind be ever at your backs, and live long and prosper, each and every one of you. God bless you.